Black and white LAPD, enter an establishment buzz. Enter an establishment buzz. Entering into the hardware store, Franklin's on Ventura Boulevard, Topanga. Black and white LAPD passes overhead. Direct overhead, red Mini. That was a direct overhead gang stalking Mini, thought-based. Flew directly overhead.
There was a Draco warrior that was supervising the process, and when the humans wanted to kill me, he just stepped forward and said, "No, I'll chip her. And when she leaves, I'll hunt her down." And while it did further enslave me, it saved my life. Most of my duties were air support for the war against the raptors, which the Germans started. And I'd occasionally be sent to capture a mantid for intel. And they usually ended up getting me eaten by a spider. And the spiders on Mars are like 15 feet across.
Why don't you talk a little bit about your relationship with this Draco? Like, what did he look like? What was his name, his role?
I didn't know his name. He basically just stood in the corner or sat in the corner because he was 12 feet tall. He sat in the corner and observed until they were ready, mad enough to kill me. And he said, "No, I will chip her and I will go get her." He was brown. He was 12 feet tall, broad. He was a warrior class, so he was descended from a turtle, so they still have the turtle shell on their backs.
You know, honestly, I've never believed that some reptilian race is running this show, because like that'd be freaking crazy. But lately I've been actually questioning it because you guys act like reptiles.
Next to my office was another office, and I remember, I swear on a stack of Bibles, I remember a lizard man in that office.
My comment about the tyranny that we are now experiencing, because a lot of people are now waking up to the fact that we're not free anymore, and it's getting to the point where there's really starting to be a dividing line, and the side of people that are realizing that something is very, very wrong is growing rapidly, but at the same time, the powers of the people that don't realize it and that trust the establishment media, that trust the government and so forth, are also very strong, but they're getting stronger at the same time because they're tightening the noose. But what I keep coming back to about this is that actually this tyranny, like all of a sudden the free speech gets taken away on YouTube. All of a sudden the lockdowns plus the mask mandates and the everything is cinching up to where we're losing our freedoms. That is actually not a sudden thing. It's just now a visible element that is new. But my point is that everything has led up to it, and what's led up to it is acquiescence to sin, the occupations of wickedness, serving Satan. Because what happens is, in this world, this is what's hard to understand. In this world, if you don't make a specific choice to serve God, which is serving the cause of Jesus Christ and salvation, what's going to happen is you're automatically going to be in the service of the devil, because everything that you do outside of service to God serves Satan's kingdom. Anything that you do to survive, anything that you do for hobby or whatever it is you do for fun, all of that ends up serving Satan and his purpose, his economy, everything that you see here, all of the businesses, all everything that you see, all the establishments, all of everything that we have, okay, hard as this is to believe, everything is approved of, run, operated, and controlled by the devil, Satan, okay? And so look at this. If you rent at this apartment, or this office, at least you have a proper label in the front. But it doesn't matter what, you know, it's all of them. You cannot operate a business, okay? And you say, well, that doesn't seem fair. Of course it's not fair. It's incomprehensible. But remember, God is right in all of his ways, and no man has understanding. And that's part of the crux of the non-understanding that the scripture says no man has, is because no one can understand how God could make a situation where it's fair and somehow right, that you can't even do anything without it being serving the devil. And the answer comes in this, in that the amount of people who were created to, or that choose to, however you want to look at it, serve the Lord, are so few in number that there won't be a risk that there'll be a lack of service. In other words, if you even had 20% of people choosing to serve Jesus, okay, there would be a whole different scene to society. There would be a whole different vibe of the world. But you see, the reason why it's not made obvious, and all the people that are in the churches don't know that they're serving Satan, they don't realize that they haven't stopped serving Satan, and the commandment says, thou shalt not serve other gods. The reason that's happening is because, of course, God has created it, but with that situation, no one can realize what's really happening. The only people who really see it are those who are on the outside of the economy. They're on the outside of the selling place. They're on the outside of the businesses and the structures that are in place that are allowed to operate in any way, shape, or form. And so, in fact, Satan even has laws in place that you cannot do anything in certain commercial venues. Like you can't put any commercials on television that are not some kind of commercial product. So if you see an ad for a church, that's not the church to go to. but I'll save you some trouble, friends, and Alex Jones at least has figured this out. There are no churches of the Lord, true churches. Not at all. Sorry, okay, so this, where this restaurant was here, used to be a different restaurant. I think it was called Cables or something else, but it was like a breakfast place. And I just wanted to nostalgize because my dad and I used to eat right here. My old man and I. And now it's a dorms, or it's gonna be. It's coming soon. But actually a great restaurant, by the way, if you haven't been there. Anyway, yeah, and then there used to be an electronics store here, and my dad liked to call himself the big phony because he drove a Rolls Royce and or a Cadillac, but the Rolls Royce was just a company car that this company that he saved $10 million in taxes let him borrow, but he drove that around for a long time, and but even though we didn't have any money, we would go into the electronics store that used to be there and just drool at the stuff that we couldn't afford. But it's kind of funny. Yeah, my old man was cool. You guys would have liked him. If you like me, you would like my old man even better. He was, I think he was a jollier sort. Only downside of my dad is, and it was a big downside, was that he would also had an explosive temper, and especially if he'd been drinking. But even if he hadn't been drinking, on occasion he would just blow up, man. And I got some of that, and my dad and my sister got some of that, but not nearly to the degree my dad had, thank God. Because my dad, I'll tell you something about my dad. By the way, he was a great man. You would have liked him. Despite this one flaw, is that when he got mad, he didn't care where he was, out in public or anything. And by the way, he was nothing like me. It wasn't like some skinny ass homeless guy walking around. He was a Harvard graduate, a veteran of the Air Force, and he graduated from Harvard Business School on the GI Bill. The GI Bill used to actually pay something to get you through college. Now, I think you're still in a huge heap of debt. It's just a trap to get you into debt. But and by the way, all the colleges are bullshit. In case you didn't know that, bullshit. I used to regret that I didn't go after higher education, but now that I've seen what everything is, I know why that happened for me, because I would have decided the same thing. I even had a friend who was on the path of Christian salvation like I am, and he went to college for a while to be a lawyer, and he just confided in me. He just turned and says, "Rich, it's total bullshit. The whole thing, complete bullshit. If you have any brains, or if you have more than the average brains, you'll start to figure that out and realize that all of the ways that Satan has set up to make a living through these education systems, they're all traps for the soul. Don't do it." Now, no one can tell anybody anything about this. You know, a soul will find his own way. I didn't decide. If I could have made money working at some company or something like that, and that had worked out for me, and I didn't have the feeling about it that I did, I probably would have worked. It wouldn't have been because of any grand realization that I made that no, you better not do that and serve Jesus Christ, because all the occupations of the world that Satan has set up, all of them, doesn't matter what country you're in, the marketplace, business, it's all a setup. You can't realize that on your own. It's a matter of the Lord guiding your footsteps. The heart directs a man's path, but the Lord guides his footsteps. So the Lord will place where you're going to go according to what was in your heart, but it's not a matter of conscious realization, and yet you will be held accountable for what you did or didn't do. Nothing like some fresh organic strawberries for an afternoon snack. So I just walked by a window there that had a psychic reader, business with all its candles and crystals, all that BS. And so what's funny is that my mom believed in psychics, and she had no idea that they're talking to demons. Demons are giving them all that information. And so this one time, my mom offered to pay for a psychic reading for me, and my mom, as a medical doctor, she always had plenty of money, so she paid this one psychic that she had gone to, that she had got good readings from, this lady, and so she went ahead and paid in advance for me, like this full big amount. I forget how much it was, but it was like, hundreds of dollars. And guess what? She drew a total blank, but didn't say it. What she did, I knew she drew a total blank, because what happened was she gathered up all of these, she was trying to help me get a career. That's what my mom was worried about. Like, I'd never get a job, never get a career, never have any money. So the psychic lady didn't get any vision about anything. All she did was get like a bunch of job wanted ads out of these various publications, and what I realized, what happened was, the reason why she drew a blank is because apparently for me, the demons weren't going to say nothing. They're going to keep their mouth shut for whatever reason. I'm not saying I know anything about that. I'm just saying that I think is who knows what it was. Like maybe, they knew that I was that I was going to be busting Satan's chops or something like that. Or maybe it's because, as this one angel said, I have a mark of protection on me. And I said, what does it look like? He said, well, it's this green thing, something. I'm like, well, what? I mean, what? That's all I could get. He said, so something, it's like green. Okay? But he said, and I said, where is it? He said, on my forehead. All right. Anything else, you know, like what you're gonna do? Oh, we're getting stuck. Okay, just a plane. Anyway, so I said, anything else? You know, it was hard to get any information out of this one angel. I'll go into more detail. He asked me not to talk about him too much, so, but I'll put it in the book. And really interesting stuff. This is an ancient angel with an amazing story to tell, and I've got that story in detail, and I mean in detail, because he told it to me several times. So, getting back to the fact that these lockdowns, this new tyranny that we're now headed into, is caused by a long time of previous acquiescence to sin. Because people don't realize, as I said, all of the businesses, they're set up to be sins, and even the ones that aren't, a lot of people, they still live in a sin because of the way that they do it. They don't do their job in a good way, and people who don't do their job in a sincere way, they're going to be in hell. And we know this because we're getting lots of witnesses now of hell. And the things that people are doing to get there. There's all kinds of things. Non-forgiveness, minor theft, debt. By the way, I've been getting out of debt myself. I still owe money to utilities, but there's not a whole lot I can do about it right now. I'm barely surviving. But in any case, it doesn't matter whether I said it or not, or what my stance was, or what I taught. In the end, if I've continued in sin, I'll be in hell with the rest of y'all. That's logical. But of course, no man can really actively think he's going to hell and truly believe it, otherwise he'd change his mind if he knew how terrible it was going to be. But most people, including myself, I really didn't have a clear picture of what hell was until I saw the Angelica Zambrano Moro testimony, and then I saw other hell testimonies, and I realized, whoa, that's some pretty scary stuff. Oh, and just to nostalgize a little bit more, this is where I bought my first Mac. My PowerBook 1400C. This used to be a sign here that said Unitech. And I went with my dad, my stepdad actually, and right in this store right here used to be a Apple Macintosh store. And I'll never forget that. In fact, I even included kind of a takeoff on that episode in my book, in my sci-fi novel, Rainy City, which it took me 10 years to write. And no one ever saw it. Well, maybe about a couple thousand people on Amazon, but not very many. Yep, and actually it was a good novel. It was good. I mean, well, it's hard. Okay, I can't judge it myself. But I did have a professional rate it, a professional published author, sci-fi author, and he said it was good. But he said that it was too long. They would want to break it down in half. And I sent it out to publishers, but nothing. I did get a reply from this one, but you know, it was a rejection, but at least one reply. But yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that confirmed it to me. That it's not about how good you are. It's about what Satan lets in. And Satan definitely ain't letting anything from me in. No, no, no. But then again, maybe that's for the best, because if you see, Satan loves his own. So the people that buy the novels that Satan allows because they're written in his spirit, that's all part of the same economy. Which, if you're going to make it into eternal life, you are not going to be part of. You're going to be on the outside. And you're going to know what I mean by being on the outside. There's nothing and nobody. Straight up Zipola. Yeah. Especially in terms of money. And it's not like I'm not smart. I mean, if I knew what I could do right now to save up, make money, make some product, do some job, get into some service, get into some line of business, whatever it is, I'd be doing it instead of standing out here like a dork with a video camera with nothing. And I'm 51. You know, my health isn't going to last forever. It's already going to hell. And when you're old, ain't no time to be homeless. If you have halfway a brain, you'll secure some kind of little retirement nest egg, some little home, something, and not be broke, jobless, careerless, nothing on the street with nothing by the time you start kicking, you know, 65, 70 in the ass, and your systems start totally failing. You're walking on like this. Alright? It ain't funny, man. I mean, if I'm here for the long haul, it may very well be. You know? Remember the way Jesus said Peter would glorify him would be he'd be so old that he'd be in a chair with some guy wheeling him around where he didn't want to go. So you never know what's going to happen. How you gonna glorify the Lord? But however you glorify the Lord, blessed are you if you truly glorify the Lord with your life, which I think means having the courage to, against all odds, against all knowledge, against all wisdom, hold out for that which is right. Well, I like this tree with the lights still on it, even though it's not Christmas. Nice big old oak. It was here long before I was born, and it'll be here long after I'm gone. Unless, of course, that's right, if Babylon burns, maybe even the trees will burn. But I think it's just that whatever happens here, there's not going to be any humans left, as Isaiah 13 and Jeremiah 50 and 51 tell us. You know, I think those pictures of police cars burning in LA, those weren't real. That wasn't a real scene. That was like to try to draw out a bunch of lawless idiots or anybody stupid enough to go out and commit crimes, because they have mind-reading technology, friends. They know exactly who's going to do what and when, because they have mind-reading technology. And of course, it's totally illegal. You're not supposed to do that. But they have it, I know for sure. They used it on me. But I'll bet those scenes, like, I don't know about other places, but I think in Los Angeles, those burning cop cars, that was all bullshit. That was just a set-up scene. They just got some old police cars or whatever, or just put them out there, and some other people lit them on fire, and then they filmed that for the news, and then or somebody's channel that they broadcast on YouTube. So YouTube cooperates completely with the New World Order. So they'll, of course, everybody who's paying attention knows that, and they'll put out whatever they want, so everybody will see what they want them to see. So even if it's not like an official news channel, it'll be right in everyone's face, so everybody can see it. And I think that whole thing with those cop cars burning, total bullshit. There was some real pandemonium, but it's all set up. Probably just, like I said, to see about, you know, getting any sort of calcitrant elements out, because like maybe some people think that's real, and then they start getting it into their mind, yeah, hey, I'm gonna go out and, you know, trash some police cars or something like that. and then zoom, you know, the real cops come in, totally bust them. But the little satanic pukes that Satan sent out to destroy everything, burn people's businesses down, make everything go crazy during the BLM riots, that whole thing is totally under control. I mean, everybody who's been paying attention to the whole false flag BS thing, they know that's what's happening. It's all BS. It's all staged. See, if it says that he's waiting to seal the servants of God in the earth, you know, wait until I've sealed all of my servants in their forehead, the servants of the Lord. That tells us that we are, that's what God is waiting for us to do. Those of us who are going to choose Him. Because there are people that are choosing their survival in this world instead of choosing Him. Because if you really choose God, if you really choose to serve God and Jesus Christ, it'll change the entire character of what you're doing here. Now, I'm not going to say that, you know, look, women with kids, they can't, you know, do what I'm doing. So I don't know what to say about that. You know, like when people ask, you know, well, oh yeah, it's great if you just want to screw off and do nothing, like you've done all your life, and smoke pot and take a walk at the beach or whatever. Okay, fine, that's you, but you know, I got kids, I got a family, or you know, I've got health issues or whatever. I mean, I need money. And for that, I need a job, or I need to have a business or something like that. And I gotta, you know, I gotta pay attention to these things, these worldly things. Again, all I can do is say, look, bottom line to it is that there are those who made the choice of Mary rather than Martha, remember? Because Mary decided that all of her worldly chores were of less importance than sitting there and listening and paying attention to something that couldn't be taken away from her, the words of Jesus. And so, at that moment, was the realization of the difference between the people who are going to make it and the people who are not. Because if you're focused on Jesus, He's going to lead you to avoid the pitfalls of this world. But if not, you're not going to see it. You're going to be, as I said, you're going to be serving the devil. Not that you intend to serve Satan. It's like you woke up and say, okay, I'm going to serve Satan today. It's not like that. But by default, you're going to serve the purposes of the world and miss the purposes of God. So I think it's an all or nothing situation. It's an either or. There's no hedging your bet. When you really choose God, it's going to put you in a situation that there's nothing I can describe to anybody and be a responsible man and say, look, yeah, okay, look, you know, I'm doing this or that, and here I am being responsible for my life. No, I mean, my sister told me this one time, we got stoned and we left her apartment door open in Santa Monica or whatever, I forget what happened. And then she goes, later she says, you have to take responsibility for your life. Okay, I added the at the end, but I mean, that's what it was like. You know, it's like, you have to take responsibility. Like, okay, you know, it's not a matter of being irresponsible, I don't think. It's a matter of a soul realizing that, hey, that's not what I want. I don't want to do their things. I never cared for what they do. I never cared for what they know. But I know.
It's in favor of the banks. It's certainly not in favor of the people. What happens when you have a child is your child is given a Social Security number? They estimate how many taxes your child is going to pay over his or her lifetime. And they take that birth certificate and they issue it on the capital markets and they earn money on it. I'm saying something much worse, actually. What I'm saying is that when every citizen goes into the court system, they are not seen there as themselves a U.S. citizen. They're seen as the person who had their birth certificate pledged. You're there as a debtor. You're not there as a citizen. We have been converted from human beings that are citizens of the Republic of the United States into chattel. Chattel, that is a legal term for something which is property. We are now considered to be property of the Federal Reserve. We're not considered to be human beings and citizens of the United States.
He said that ET races have been given large parts of Africa and South America to have free reign to abduct and kill humans. That includes various ET races, which are the Draco, the Reptoids, the Greys, and a few others. And they have been allowed to hunt, capture, and use as slaves and as a food source, the humans, but they are now wanting to expand their territories. The Illuminati dark side of the military has made, and also the elite, have made a deal with the devil. They are in denial of how they will fare in the long run, but they can continue to make deals. And he said thousands of people within the elite have made this deal and continue to do so.
If you're watching this, it's not too late. Say this prayer now. Father in heaven, save my soul by the work of your Son Jesus on the cross, and show me your pure words in the authorized King James Bible.
I swear on a stack of Bibles, I remember a lizard man in that office.
Raptor!